Pakistani state of education is at best described as dismal because public school system cannot include all of the students, all of the youth of Pakistan. There is somewhere between 70 to 80 million youth in Pakistan that public school system only able to engage almost half of them. The rest of the half do not go to any schools or go to private schools or attend madrasas. There are different numbers and figures for the population of Pakistan that's under 18, but some estimates says between 60 to 70 million youth are under 18, which is huge as compared to, if you compare Afghanistan total population, that's less than 23 million. And Pakistan with about 70 to 80 million youth bulge is a major international issue in providing literacy and education for this youth. The percentage of religious schools and how many students attend religious education is also debatable. There are lots of Quranic schools in Pakistan, but there are many madrasas, religious schools, that teach Dars-e-Nizami system, which is an 8-year curriculum, and that's somewhere between 20 to 25,000 madrasas. About 2.7 million students attend those schools, and about 110 to 120,000 students graduate from every year from madrasas after 8 years of completion of the school. So that is a very big number of students to not engage, to not be able to work with them, because I think they do need quite a bit of modernization of their school system, because they learn very didactic and kind of a rote learning that can create a lot of issues with critical thinking, analyzing issues of today, challenges of today's economy, today's politics, is very, very difficult for these students to then manage. What you see a lot of times is these students get very angry, in fact, if you ask one or two questions with them, because they're not used to being asked questions. They're only being told what to think. So there seem to be a lot of gaps within this youth and, for example, private school system in Pakistan, where most of the private school system actually provide pretty decent education, but it's a very small number. And those are the students that end up going into politics or become elites of Pakistan, policymakers. That also creates incredible distance between madrasa and public school students and this elite private school. I think politics have a lot to do with it, but madrasas are the first line that thinks that Islam is under threat or their particular sect is under threat. So Ahle Hadith might think that if there are more Shias in Pakistan, and then there'll be sectarian killings from Ahle Hadith or Deobandis, and Shias feel threatened by them. So there is that major tension, and these schools are set up, madrasas are set up in isolation anyway. So Shias madrasas do not allow Sunnis, or Sunnis madrasas do not allow Shias. In fact, Deobandi madrasas do not allow other Sunni groups like Jamaat-e-Islami or Ahle Hadith or Barelvis. They only allow Deobandis. So we now have an incredibly isolated and insulated environment for youth. The groups that I mentioned are 4 schools of thought in Sunni school in Pakistan, Barelvi, Ahle Hadith, and sometimes in West we call those Wahhabis. Deobandi and Jamaat-e-Islami. These are 4 prominent schools of thoughts in Sunni. And then there is a Shia school of thought in Pakistan, and that includes Aga Khanis, Ismailis, and Itna Ashra, which is, they believe in 12 imams in Pakistan. They have their own school systems. Each group have their own school system and their own board, and these boards are become very powerful. They have their own curriculum, and this curriculum teaches that if you do not believe this particular very narrow interpretation of Islamic sect, then you are not a true Muslim. The reason West should pay attention to madrasas in Pakistan or in Afghanistan, for example, but especially in Pakistan, because there is a huge number of madrasas in the first place. Most of these students graduate from madrasa and they are not able to find a mainstream job in Pakistani economy. So the Pakistani economy cannot consume these graduates. So they end up becoming imams of the mosques or the teachers of madrasas themselves. Or if they don't have those opportunities, then they open up another mosque. And there is infighting within groups now, within madrasa groups. For example, Shia and Brelvis and Deobandis and Ahle Hadith and Jamaat Islami. Who is going to build most mosques, because the graduates who get out of madrasa feel that is something that's the only thing they can actually do is run a mosque, become an imam.